What's up, everybody? Welcome to Investing Bros. I am still kind of feeling like crud, but I am here today because there is work to be done. Thank you to everybody who wished me well, and shout out to T-Shroom for absolutely crushing it yesterday by himself. That man is a legend. Give it up. If you guys love T-Shroom, smash the like button for that alone. But today we got a good amount to talk about. Bitcoin price is boring, yes, but breakouts are coming. The question is, which direction? And we're also going to look at the more macro, kind of continue to break down expectations for the bull market. When is it going to be here? What you should be expecting. So make sure to stay tuned for all of that. Also, this isn't necessarily new news, but we're going to talk a little bit more about what is happening with BlackRock, with JP Morgan. They're giving a lot of opinions. They're doing a lot in the crypto world, but they're doing things in the real world as well that are kind of looking a little fishy. We're going to talk about that. So make sure you stay tuned for the entire episode. Sorry if my energy is going to be a little lower today, guys. Again, still recovering from, I don't even know what it is. I know you guys threw out the accusations of hot dogs yesterday. Is it a bad hot dog? Was it the grass I mowed and I'm having some sort of allergic reaction? Did I get a bug? I don't know. What I know is I'm freaking sick and tired of being sick, and I'm ready to just get back to normal. With that said, throwing it to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. T-Shroom, holding down the fort. How you doing today, T-Shroom?
Well, I'm doing better than I deserved, Tim. I really am. Yesterday was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to be on the show by myself, do a little bit of a T-Shroom takeover. I certainly have fun. I think the audience did as well. So let me know in the chat if you guys enjoyed the show yesterday. I do have a quote of the day. It's coming at you. I may not have gone where I intended to go, but I think I have ended up where I am intended to be. Douglas Adams there. Don't hear a lot from old Douglas, but got definitely some bangers out there in the world of quotes.
Listen, that's a good quote, because let us know in chat if you're this one of you. How many times in life, T-Shroom, has everything gone in a very opposite way of how you wanted it to go, but now you look back and you're like, if that had never happened to me, then this blessing would have never happened to me, and then this blessing would have never happened to me, and then I wouldn't be where I am now. Like my entire life is filled with disappointments that ended up being the greatest thing to ever happen to me. So I relate with that quote very, very much so. I'm very glad that I'm not in full control of my life, because otherwise I probably would screw it up daily.
Yeah. No, that's how it goes. And to answer your question, 4.
That's a good number.
4 times is the amount of times that I was surprised.
Is that an allusion to that's a FUD number, like your life is one big FUD, or is that just a coincidence that you said 4?
If you know, you know. Real ones know.
True. Yeah, well, let's get in here, engage with community a little bit. Again, we're going to be talking crypto today. I see here, French Toaster said too many hot dogs. Yes. So I don't think I ate too many hot dogs. Is 3 hot dogs too many hot dogs, T-Shroom, in your book?
No.
And in fact, it wasn't even like 3 hot dogs with like buns. It was just happened to be 3 hot dogs. So I don't really like hot dogs and buns and stuff. No, I don't think it's the hot dogs, but let me know in chat. Listen, I'm okay if you guys want to throw the hot dogs under the bus. I don't feel like hot dogs deserve that kind of FUD. Not that they're the greatest meat in the world, but
they don't.
I know it's fun. It's fun to blame the hot dogs. Blame the hot dogs if you want. Let's keep moving on here. What else we have? Jenny from the blockchain said Zeke Elliott is here. Is Ezekiel Elliott here? That would be kind of awesome if Ezekiel Elliott was in chat. Let's read some names. By the way, over 100 people already in here. Shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for being here, supporting the bros. Again, we're going to be breaking down everything you need to know about crypto today, which, to be fair, it's not a lot. We're kind of in a boring phase in the market, and we're going to talk a lot about that. However, this is the boring phase that ends up being the exact moment that if you make the right decisions, this is the difference between you making millions and maybe only a couple thousand. But let's read some names in chat. First commenter of the day is Eric Wallen. Is that right? If I have that correct on my screen, the way he commented doesn't make it seem like he was first, but that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing here, guys. Eric Wallen, first commenter of the day. Congratulations to him. Mr. J coming No, that was not the first comment because Mr. J's comment says one too many jokes about sweatshirts. So my thing must have reset.
Mine says
And I'm
Ninja
not
Glock.
seeing the first. Okay. Who do you have as the top three? Because mine, I think, picked up somewhere in the middle of conversation somehow because they're talking about sweatshirts. And I don't think those were the opening comments of the entire show.
Oh, well, now it's saying Remington Peralt. Oh, man.
Goodness gracious. YouTube not allowing us to have any podium winners today.
That's because it's on my... Here, stand by. I'll get you that answer in just a sec.
There we go.
Stand by as in continue. It's going to take me a minute to get
Okay, all right. Let's read some other names, though. These are not the first commenters, but that doesn't mean we don't love them. Eric Wallen, Mr. J, Sativio Shimoto, Gia S with the blue wrench is here, Crypto Ben Franklin, everyone's favorite non-president. Elliot Locke is here. I'm so sorry, Elliot Locke, about those Gamecocks. I really thought the Gamecocks would win, Elliot. I did not think North Carolina's defense would be that good, and we both got disappointed there. Who else is here? Joe Nickel is here. Luigi Fibonacci is here. Mike Lowry. Let's see. Who else do we have? We'll get a couple more names in here, and then maybe we'll get some of those first couple names. Yair Navarro is here. Ada Ace is in the building. Off-Grid Anarchy is here. That's a fun one. Brian D. Katzman. Let's get three more, T-Shroom, and then if you have the original three, we'll read those to close it out. Troy King, Swag Schmitty, great name there, and the last one of the day, Austin Patrick. Thank you to everybody. If I did not read your name, because I know there's a lot of people commenting right now, I was not able to read your name. That does not mean I don't love you. It just means it's time to move on with the show. But did you get the original three, T-Shroom?
It's glitching everywhere on all the different platforms. Right. It's like saying a different name, so I don't have any kind of confirmation. I have no confluence.
I'm going to read a comment that I really like, and that is from Rich. Rich says, I watch the VT entrance every morning, and I'm not even a VT, I think he's a fan, but gets the blood flowing. Absolutely. You do not have to be a Virginia Tech fan to appreciate the greatest entrance in all of college football. That's enough college football talk. That's for the Saturdays. At the end of the show, if you guys like college football, make sure you watch the Saturday editions of Investing Bros. With that said, T-Shroom, I do think it's time to go ahead and jump in here and break down and talk about some market-moving news. Let's go ahead and share my screen, starting with our economic outlook. Oh, gosh. Man, gonna be a fun one today. Even this. I feel like I'm gonna barely make it through here. So, T-Shroom, if I ever hand it over to you to talk, be ready. All right. 10 a.m. ISM services PMI is coming out. Can I be honest with you guys? I don't even know what that is. I don't know. I probably should. I'm going to learn about this and let you guys know because it keeps popping up as something important, but I don't know what it is. 11 p.m. tonight, the balance of trade over in China will be announced. CryptoSec Guy just gave a super chat saying, hey, Tim, did you really think by skipping work we wouldn't talk about the LSU game? Listen, again, bro times and Saturdays, college football. But thank you for the donation, CryptoSec Guy. And you know what? Congratulations, Florida State. I think Florida State's
they look solid this year.
They're a good team. And I'm not even that disappoints me, but I'm not going to lie. All right, we're going to keep moving on. Tomorrow night, inflation rate in China is happening. I know we have one of our headlines today is going to deal with the Chinese economy. Of course, that was a big story with some fear in it about what the markets could do, the crypto markets included. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more. Let's keep moving on, though. Great Britain has an unemployment rate coming out on Tuesday. That's next week. So as a whole, there's not a lot happening here, guys, over this next week. We'll keep you reporting if anything changes there. There is a Fed speech happening earlier today, it looks like, from Collins, but not necessarily seeing the markets do anything nuts. So let's take a look over here at CoinGlass. This is pretty strange. It tells you how boring the markets are right here. That Bitcoin is the third box here. It's not the first. It's not the second. Third. And even that, it only had 2.4 million longs liquidated versus 1.5 million shorts. That's nothing. So literally the markets have done nothing within the last 24 hours. FLM is the leader with $3.23 million worth of shorts liquidated versus $2.36 million of longs. Ethereum in second place, pretty split. 2.45 longs, 2.5 million shorts. So right down the middle, but it does get a little bit red, but it kind of sat there and did nothing. So market sitting really boring. We're going to break that down here in just a little bit. I wish I had a way to make this a dark screen. I hate the light screens. Let me know in chat. Are you guys a fan of dark mode for everything? Or put a 1 in chat if you're a fan of dark mode. Put a 2 in chat if you like the white screens that blind your eyeballs and burn out your corneas.
Retinas.
What is retinas? Is it burns the retinas? Not an eye doctor, guys. All right. Twoflation down 2.64%, technically down 0.03% over a little bit. So you can see after kind of spiking back up here at Twoflation, I don't know if they can. Yeah, okay. My head's not blocking it. We're coming down slightly, but again, watch out. We're starting to kind of go a little bit more to the upside. Seeing a lot of ones in chat makes me believe that most people are saying crypto trades, though, of course, putting a number that I did not ask for. So that's
nice.
Good stuff. Let's go over to our Fed Watch tool here. Let me refresh just to make sure we have the most up-to-date data. 93% are now predicting that we will get a pause in September. By the way, we only have about 2 weeks from today until the next FOMC meeting. That is something I also forgot, so I didn't even get there when we were on the economic calendar. Next week, we will get CPI numbers, I believe. Do we have this down here? Friday, September 8th.
13th.
Does it come up the same week? The 13th. All right, yeah, so it's going to be on the 13th, right down here, inflation number. So yeah, that's something to look forward to in the next couple of weeks here. Going back over though to our CME futures tool. Let's see, is there any month, and I have not checked this morning, still saying pause in November, December still saying pause, and we're starting to see the signs in December. Certain people are voting for a rate cut or predicting a rate cut, excuse me. Let's go to January, still paused, but we're starting to see the momentum pick up for a rate cut. March, we're still paused, but now you're seeing that it start to flip from more people saying we're going to get one more rate hike to people saying we're going to go and start cutting. I'm going to imagine May. Ooh, it is close, but technically right now, May is still predicting a pause. 36% saying pause, 34% saying 25 basis point cut. Then we have some more predictions for even more. And then June, I'm assuming this is where we take over. Yeah, June is where they're officially saying this is the month that we think that we will get a rate cut. So could be very interesting. This is bullish for the markets right now, but as you guys know, this changes. So we got to keep our eyes on it. But for right now, this is a sign, I would say, a little bit more in the favor of the bulls that we won't get any more rate hikes. Bitcoin fear and greed index sitting at 42 this morning. Yesterday, it was at 40. Over the weekend, we did see it get down to about 39, I do believe, coming down here. If we were to the last 7 days, have we seen a 39? Yeah, we saw a 39 back here on the 2nd of September, but kind of hovering right there in that middle zone, technically right on the edge of fear and neutral. So for now, again, bullish, but remember, this kind of stuff can change very, very quickly. So you do want to keep your eyes on what's happening there. It's time for our coin market cap open of the day. Again, we talked about this during liquidations. Not a lot of movements. Bitcoin down 0.3%, Ethereum down 0.2%. Who cares about Tether because that's a stable coin. It's not going to move that much. If it does move much, that's when we care. BNB down 0.1%, XRP down 0.2%. Is anything up or down 1%? Tron up. I said 1%, and then literally as it said 1%, it flashed down to 0.5. So not that one. Polygon Matic down 1%. Shiba Inu up 1.42%. Let's see. Eunice, number 20, coming in up 1.21%. So nothing crazy in the top 20. Let's take a look at the biggest gainers. Synthetics almost up 12%. I think it flashed to 12% earlier today when I was checking it. Synthetics, though, is the biggest mover. Then you have a big drop down to Thorchain is only up 3.5%. So not a lot of gains. Uniswap in that gainer group, SafePal in that gainer group, Sui in that gainer group, Kava in that gainer group, but not a lot of gainers today. Let's take a look at bigger losers. Not a lot of big losses here. Stellar Lumen is the biggest loser at 5.25%. Then it jumps down to Mantle, only down 2.42, 2% for XDC, 2% for Casper, almost 2% for Maker, Pepe down 1.5%. So not a whole lot of movements necessarily whatsoever here. We're about to jump in here and do some charts. And again, we'll look at some micro, kind of start it off, but we're going to talk a little more macro today and continue to prepare you guys for how to be thinking about the bull market. But first, T-Stream, do we have a fact of the day to talk about, or is that?
You know what? We don't. The elves dropped the ball.
Frickin' elves these days, man. Goodness gracious.
Do?
Roosevelt Taylor said, first time watching. Tim, great job on the other show. I've been on a couple shows, Roosevelt Taylor, but thank you so much. So glad to have you in here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And anybody else who's here first, if you guys love the Investing Bros, if you guys love crypto and breaking down the markets, again, that's kind of our thing is we're not really solely a TA channel. We're not solely a news channel. I firmly believe that the best way to break down markets and think about it is to have a healthy understanding of almost everything involved. So what is the stock market doing? What are the markets as a whole doing? What's the economy looking like? What are the charts telling you? What's the news telling you? And then as you start to piece all that information together, I'm not saying that it's going to be easy to be perfect, but it's definitely going to be a process that you can make a lot of money in the long term because you're looking at it from a full perspective. That's what we're all about here at Investing Bros. If you guys love that, smash the like, hit subscribe. T-Shroom, let's just jump in here. Let's do these charts really quickly. Not really quickly, excuse me, really well. By the way, shout out to our sponsor of the chart section, Chart Prime. You guys know we love them. Best indicators in the market. They make it really easy, really clear. So if you're trying to get into the trading game, but you want some help and some more confirmation on when to enter, when to exit, highly, highly recommend Chart Prime. Also, when you use our link, just go down here, go to the description, hit this link right here. Don't play around. Just hit on it and purchase because you get 45% off your first month or quarter. You're not going to find that anywhere else in the space, only here on the Investing Bros. So go ahead and take advantage of that right now if you want to get in the trading game. Let's take a look at these shorter terms. On the daily chart, nothing really changing that much. We did have a bullish divergence flash here a couple of days ago that nothing really has played out there. We had our MVP oscillators kind of coordinate with our oversold figure back here, which we talked about. Hey, watch for a kind of a manipulative move. You guys just tell me you don't agree this is a manipulative move. Look at how after sitting boring for over a week, we shoot up and within 2 days we erase all those gains. Guys, this is classic manipulation. There was big news. Grayscale, this is what launched this. Grayscale winning their lawsuit. The whales took advantage of this. They sold their profits to suckers up top over here at like 28,200 or so, and they let the price come back down so they could gobble more supply. That is a perfect play out of what manipulation looks like. And guys, manipulation is not over. So get ready to see some more of it. Let's come all the way down to the 4-hour chart. Let's see what it is telling us briefly. Despite the fact we had that manipulative move, we're still in this really boring zone that just as we predicted last week, we did get up to about 26,000, rejected there. I'm not going to be surprised, guys, to see us revisit back down here towards 25.2, 25.3. Once again, what I would like to see for the bulls to make another rally is a low volume spring. You guys can see every other time we've come down here, high volume. This one wasn't crazy high volume, but there's still a little bit of a spike. We didn't really have any confirmation of volume coming afterwards. Then after our big rally, we come back down, hit these levels once again with high volume. So now what I'm looking for, if the bulls want to make a significant move, let's get a low volume spring with high volume confirmation. Let's get rid of that little purple lightning bolt because it is blocking some of the volume there. That's what we're looking for the bulls to take control. Now, you guys know I also have been saying here for a little bit that I do think that we're going to eventually, within this month of September, maybe early October, lose 25.2, make a push down towards 20,000. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But if we're going to see another spike back up to 27,000, maybe even a spike back up to this yellow box at 28,000, I'm looking for a low volume spring, high volume bounce. That's what we want to see in the markets. Now, anything else I want to check out here? Not really. I think I want to go ahead and just kind of jump into the grand scheme of things here. Going back out to the daily chart, let's take down our oscillators here. You guys know that the significant levels we have discussed, things have played out pretty close to exactly how we've predicted them. After we lost this blue line, this blue rising level of support, I told you guys watch out for a rebound back up to the zone to turn former support into resistance. Then watch us potentially wrestle on 25.2 before losing it, coming back down to about 19. I've said 19.7, 19.9. I would not be surprised to see a 19.5, maybe even a 19.3 or so. The whole point, though, is when you come over here to the CME gap, you are going to see we have, when you come to the CME chart, excuse me, we are going to see this gap down here at 19,940. And this begs the question, do we have to fill this gap? No, we don't have to. There's a lot of gaps I don't think that will be filled. If you were to go back into the history of Bitcoin, especially back to prices we had back in 2020, early 2021, we set a bunch of gaps down here. I don't believe these are going to get hit. What I do think is going to happen, though, again, is I think we're going to see a similar movement to what we saw back in 2019. Guys, what we have just gone through, and doesn't play out 100% perfectly, but what we have kind of just gone through is this situation right here. Where's my marker? This situation right here, and we're kind of back here around this region right in here. What happened during 2019? We had our bottom of the bear market. We kind of traded sideways for a little bit, had our rallies, hit not new highs for the whole market itself, but new highs for this explosion. And then we started a retracement back down to a former level of resistance, turning it into support. Yes, of course, only a couple months later, COVID came in and gave us some new lows as well. But I'm not predicting, you can't predict black swan events. That's the reason they're called black swan events. What you can do is say, hey, we are moving very similar to 2019. And if we're looking at this range, if we're looking at that kind of price action and going back and saying, all right, things could get very similar to this, we have not bottomed out whatsoever. What I'm looking at right here, and if you kind of look at these lines as well, let's go out to the weekly chart here. That is the 2 weekly, Tim. Let's get this together. All right, here we go. If you look at these lines, I've kind of also paced out the way the markets move in timing. They don't do everything exactly perfectly. They don't even do everything in a perfect 4-year cycle. It's more like a 3-year, 11-month, 10.5-month cycle. Well, I have these paced out over every 51 weeks, and you guys can see coming into yellow lines, it's hard to see back there. If I go to log chart, maybe you'll see it better. Coming into yellow lines, you usually either have a dip right before it or a dip right at the yellow line. So we have back here, back in 2015, that dip came back in, setting a double bottom for the entire bear market. Actually set a technical new low right before getting into this yellow line. Back in 2019, we dipped and almost hit our bottom perfectly on the yellow line. I do think that what we're seeing play out right now is another dip coming into the yellow line. I think that we're seeing the price get manipulated just perfectly, and watch and pay attention to what happens right here at about 20,000, because as you guys will notice, going back here to the Bitcoin chart, we don't just have heavy support right at 25.2. We also had a heavy resistance level right before the FTX drop, right here around 20,000. We also have a wick down here all the way to about 19.6. That's one of the reasons why when you kind of combine the CME gap along with that wick back there, I think that this is a classic level that whales and manipulators like BlackRock, like JP Morgan, like whales who understand the long-term effects of Bitcoin, they understand, guys, we need to get this price down as low as we can get it. And right now, while FTX was a little bit of FTX itself was a little bit of a black swan event, if we're really being honest. While some people predicted it, and there are people that actually called it perfectly, the majority of the space did not believe that was actually going to happen. Most people were surprised by all the details that came out. If that had never come out, you're really looking at price bottoms right here in a little bit of a box between about 18,000 and up here around 20,500. This box is really where I think whales could easily get their hands into the market and manipulate the price back down to. You mix that with the gap we have at 25,000, and this is what makes it a very attractive level to me. I still believe we have a little further to drop. Some people believe we could come down only to about 22.3, 23,000, this kind of range right in here, which is plausible. If you were to pull up Fibonacci levels, there are definitely levels of significance at that spot right here, the 0.5 coming in at about 22,300. My expectation, ladies and gentlemen, my expectation is that we see manipulation come into space. We see a bunch of fear come into space. We see a candle kind of stop right here on 22,300. We then see a wick. If I could draw this, we kind of see the price move down towards 22. We do see a wick drop down into this golden pocket right around 20,000, maybe go a little bit lower, 19.7, 19.6, and then shoot back up, and on the same day close up here. And that will be the bottom of what we actually then start real bullishness moving into the real bull market. Remember, guys, let's go back to my other screen here and let's take a look at some movements here. Let me take off my marker. A lot of people want to believe that the bull market has already started. And I'm not saying that we're going to hit a new bottom. Again, 19.7, 19.5 is not a new bottom. It's a retracement. It's back down pretty significantly, but it's not a new bottom. Remember, though, we've got to wait for the halving event to happen. The halving event happens a little bit before a blue line. That's when the real bullishness starts to happen. Like, in fact, if we go back over here, this blue line right here, the halving event happens somewhere in the range about 100 days before this blue line. Guess what that kind of correlates with from this blue line? About 100 days, going to put us where? About July. Let's go back a little further because I think the halving event is expected to be like more like April, May. That real explosiveness is not actually going to happen until like April or May. That's when we're going to get real bullish momentum in the space. There's a lot of time. If you were to put a line right here, let's put another vertical line at April. Let's put it right at May 1st, actually, because that's kind of my expectation, somewhere right at the end of April. We've got a lot of time between now and then that price absolutely can do this little dance, that it comes back down, hits this level down low back at 19.6, 19.7, and then starts to slowly make its way, staying in this range. We get our halving event, get a nice little pump up, trade sideways, and then the real bullish nature happens at that blue line. That blue line is where things start to get parabolic. That's when the bull market really happens. For anyone wondering how you should be looking at this entire space, do not get emotionally attached to stories. Do not get emotionally attached to the concept of saying like, well, we have these ETFs coming, so we have to be bullish. We're going to talk about that here a little bit more. ETFs do not have to be bullish. In fact, ETFs could actually be part of the way that institutions continue to manipulate the price of Bitcoin so that they can get the best price possible. The 4-year cycle, though, is still very much intact. And the 4-year cycle says, guys, it is not time yet to go all crazy in. If you still have money on the sidelines, it's time to continue to DCA. It's time to continue to wait. It's time to ride all of the markets. Believe me or not, guys, you're going to see articles that are going to push very hard. You're going to see news stories. You're going to see things in the economy happen that are going to try their best to tell you that crypto is done. Bitcoin's going to zero. This happens like clockwork. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is when is the best time to be getting in at these low levels and riding it out for the next 2 to 2.5 years as the bull market does its actual work. If you can stay tuned, if you can ride the bull like that, you will become very, very wealthy. However, I urge you, continue to stay patient, continue to wait for the opportunities. If I could play this out perfectly, if I could be the controller of Bitcoin, I joke with this all the time. I would crash the price of Bitcoin down to $3 so I could just buy a buttload of it, and then I'd rally it up. The bull market is coming, and we are going to see over $100,000 price on Bitcoin, in my personal opinion. I think the institutions will bring that. But do not be surprised to be manipulated and to see volatility all the way to that point. It's what happens in the markets. If you can agree to that and if you can understand that and you can say, I'm going to be patient and wait for my opportunity, you'll make a lot of money. If you react and try to trade emotionally, you're going to get shook out. You're going to get exposed. You're going to lose all your money to the whales who will then themselves will become very, very rich while you quit crypto and go back to your normal 9 to 5 thinking that's going to be your hope and watch the dollar just continue to depreciate. And now you come back in on Bitcoin and it's now at $100,000. Don't make that mistake. Continue to learn and grow and be patient and ready for the actual opportunity. I hope that made a lot of sense. Again, not feeling my top today, but definitely wanted to break that down. Everybody's been asking, hey, when is the bull market happening? Guys, it's going to stay right on schedule. Wait for a bull market early to mid 2024. Just got a super chat from Roosevelt Taylor. We're going to transition here. Other show, BitBoy Crypto. Also, favorite coin you're holding for 2025 bull run? Thanks. Okay, yeah. No, thank you so much, Roosevelt Taylor. My favorite coin I'm holding. Not a lot of favorite coins. There's a lot of coins. You can go to Brocam yet. Yeah, there you go. Because Tisham, I want to hear your answer to this too. I believe heavily in XRP. But I think my favorite coin, because there are so many still opportunities that can do stuff, and this is going to sound cliche. Some people are going to say, of course, it's that one. But guys, just don't sleep on Cardano. I have come to a point where I stopped trading Cardano because it doesn't always necessarily respect every single aspect of technical analysis. So I no longer trade it. But in terms of long-term investments, there's no team that I have a more heavy respect and agreeance with of how they're accomplishing things. The heartbeat of the Cardano team, their goals of what they want to accomplish, their whys behind what they started. How can you not love Cardano? Some people are going to say they're not going to accomplish it. And you know what? All right, I disagree, but okay, that you can think that, but you cannot be angry. You cannot be upset. You cannot say, oh, Cardano's an evil corporation that's just trying. No. Their idea of banking the unbanked and bringing people into the world economy that have been blocked off due to corruption of money is just absolutely astronomical. So Cardano to me is one of those coins that I can't make a firm prediction. I think it's going to top Ethereum. But I think it's one of the last pure decentralized coins that really is all for the people, And you can't help but root for it to become one of the top coins once again. I'm not talking about like top 10 because it already is. I'm talking about top 3, maybe get into that top 2. I don't know. When it comes to the likes of Ethereum, Ethereum's a safe investment. Ethereum is very safe. You're going to make a lot of money in Ethereum. Institutions love it. I do question the levels of centralization that are kind of coming into it. Even XRP, guys, I love XRP. I think it's going to be great for the world. I think there's levels of centralization with that. You know, you guys, this is another coin slipping up on me that I think I want to invest in a lot more. I think T-Shroom kind of broke some of this down yesterday, and some others. Solana, especially with these new partnerships with like PayPal and Visa and everything else they're doing. Solana is another coin. I think you can make a lot of money investing in Solana. Now, don't trick yourself. It's not a decentralized coin. It very much is a fan of institutions, but guess what? Institutions love money. So just like investing in a company, like when you invest in a company, companies are not decentralized. Companies are going to have their centralized leader who's going to make all the decisions, and you're just investing in what you believe in that person. The partnerships that I see XRP, Ethereum, and Solana making, they're going to make a lot of money. I'm even changing my opinion on Solana. I've said before, I didn't know if Solana was going to hit new all-time highs. I think Solana will hit new all-time highs. I think Solana will make people a lot of money. But that was a long answer to say there's no coin, Roosevelt Taylor, that makes me more excited than Cardano, because if they actually do accomplish what they're talking about, we're not just talking about making money. We're talking about transforming the world and bringing people who never had a shot before into having the ability to impact the planet. And that's a big thing to me. What about you, T-Shroom?
Link.
Oh, yeah, Link's good too.
All the ones you said, Tim, are pretty good. I think Ethereum, I agree, is a safe in the crypto world, safe bet. But when it comes to Chainlink, I think that's the only one maybe missing from that list, because and XRP, probably up there as well. Although you have been seeing XDC and XLM doing pretty well side by side with XRP. But XRP, is the one that's in the top 10, top 5. I believe.
Yeah,
I'm not mistaken.
B-Team.
So,
this is good stuff. We had another super chat, but I also saw a comment. The good spot to just engage with chat for a little bit. Really good questions, really good statements being made. B-Team Crypto said, does liking Solana make you a sellout? I don't think so, B-Team Crypto, because first of all, okay, so everything I just raved about with Cardano, I don't have that same feeling about Sol. I don't have this undying like love and loyalty for Solana. I still think it's a centralized centralized coin. I don't necessarily love their why, but as an investor, as someone trying to make money, I think it's foolish and dumb to not invest in a coin just because you don't agree with everything they're doing necessarily. I think it's a coin that, with the relationships they're making, I mean, same thing. Look at what Matic did, and Matic's another coin, by the way, guys, that I'm really bullish on. I didn't mention that. Matic's another coin, but during a bear market where everything else was very stagnant, Matic had some explosive months. Why? Because he was partnering with companies like Coca-Cola. Do I love Coca-Cola? No. In fact, I can't remember the last time I drank a Coke product, but I understand the business side of it. And then they made a partnership with Disney. Do I like Disney? No. There's so many things about Disney. Like, I'm sitting here, guys, as a new parent. Taylor and I were watching a movie the other day from Disney, and I'm sitting here saying, I don't know if I want my kids watching Disney stuff anymore. Like, Disney is just very much doing things that I don't agree with. However, do I understand the business side of that? Yes, I do. So from an investment perspective, Matic was a great investment because of those partnerships. And I'm going to make the same argument for Solana. I questioned a lot about Solana. They had that was really hard for the entire Solana coin community and everything else when they were so heavily tied to FTX. And then FTX went down, and then they had developers leaving left and right. The question was, could they make a bounce back? And the answer, while I thought the answer was going to be no, the answer is turning out to be yes. And I'm not going to sit here and say, well, I don't like how this happened. No, I'm going to say, crap, I'm an investor. Will this company make money? Will this company not make money? Will I make money on my investment here, or will I not make money on my investment here? That's how I think about things. And when it comes to Solana, like it, hate it, love it, whatever you want.
Bop it.
They're going to make, yeah, bop it. There we go. They're going to make money. They're going to have the price of the coin go up. So to me, as an investor, as long as I don't think that there's actually something ridiculously evil happening, which, by the way, there are projects and companies and coins out there that I'm like, I probably would have a moral dilemma investing in. I don't have a moral dilemma with Solana. I just don't necessarily love everything that they're doing and what their priorities are. but I still am acknowledging I think the price goes up, so I'm going to invest. That's kind of how I see it. Let me know what you guys think. Ricardo F says, what's your total crypto market cap prediction for the 2025 bull market? I heard from 7 to 11. Yeah, Ricardo, excuse me. I am kind of in the boat of 8 to 11. 8 to 11 trillion is what I'm expecting. Kind of leaning more towards that 11. Let's see if things heat up even more. There's a chance it goes even higher, but I don't want to get ridiculous. Most of my price predictions, when I've given price predictions about where I think things could go, rest on, well, where's the crypto market cap going to be? Because I think while you can't predict it perfectly, most things are kind of easy to know where their dominance levels are going to be. And so if you know where crypto market cap's going to go, or you have a good idea, and you have a good understanding of where dominance will be for coins, now the equation just becomes, all right, what is their tokenomics? What is their supply going to be at that time? And it's simple math. If the supply is at this level and they have this much dominance of an $11 trillion market cap, it's pretty easy to make a price prediction there. No matter what, though, and I was talking with a friend about this the other day, I'm going to have my price levels, guys, that I'm looking at, and I'm expecting that if we hit those prices early, I might start taking some profit. But I'm not going to make the same mistake that I and many other people made back in the bull market of 2021. Let's say you believe that Cardano is getting to $8, but it's October of 2025 and the price is at $6. Guys, I don't think it's going to happen. In the same way we thought Bitcoin was going to make 100K and then it didn't happen. There is a level of you have to still be willing to change your mind. Things can happen that change it. Don't be necessarily just tied to an exact number. Look for numbers, but also pay attention to timelines. Because guess what? The fact that we were at 69,000 and everyone kept saying price is still going to go up, going to go up, going to go up, going to go up. Well, guys, the 4-year cycle said it was over. The timeline said it was over. So to me, I'm watching prices and I'm looking for prices and hoping for prices to take profit, but I'm not going to be stuck in my way. If Bitcoin's only at 100,000, if Cardano's only at $6 or $5, if Ethereum's only at $12,000, but the time is late summer, fall of 2025, I'm going to go ahead and start taking profits and not be tied to that top number I predicted, because there's no such thing as perfection in the markets. You have to be willing to adjust your opinions, to change your mind, and take what the market gives you and regroup for the next bull run, next bear market, and trade accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very good. It's very true. I like it a lot. Well, we've got a lot of news to get to. One thing I want to bring to everyone's attention, right? We're covering a lot of ground today, guys. One thing I want to bring to your attention, though, is the oil. Oil prices shot up last night up to $87 barrel, right? We do not want this to continue higher, but it is looking like that might be the case as Saudi and Russia talks over cutting supply go forward. Put it that way. So this trickles into the inflation story. We don't want inflation going higher because that gives Jerome Powell and the Fed the impetus, the green light to continue to raise rates and generally relieve rates higher, right? Delay the cutting of rates, the QE, that will bring liquidity back into the market. So oil go up bad. Let's go ahead and take a look at our stories here. Evergrande soars 70%. Don't get too excited. Leading Chinese property stocks higher after Country Garden avoids default. But wait till you see some of the details here. It's a little bit laughable. The gains come after Country Garden reportedly managed to pay $22.5 million in bond coupon payments on Tuesday, narrowly avoiding default. Guys, if you're as big a company as Country Garden is, you should not struggle with $22 million bond coupon payments. $22 million payment of any kind, both from a financial planning standpoint and from a liquidity standpoint. This is a huge black eye for the Chinese real estate market, that their private operators are this down bad, right? That's not good. So the headline says 75%, soaring 75%. Let's take a look at what that looks like on the 5-year, guys. So this is Chinese Evergrande Group, right? Ticker HKD. If you want to go throw some money into a fire, this is what it's looked like over the last 5 years. This is more than 5 years, but this is the uptick that everybody's freaking out about. That they think that this is going to be the saving grace for the Chinese real estate. No, this is just a dead cat bounce. right? You could say. So nothing to get too excited about, but it is a moment of reprieve, right? And in a moment of reprieve, speculators come out and buy risk, right?
What, real quick, T-Shroom, could you pull up the Evergrande chart? Because that's a big bounce, but what does that bounce look like compared to where it was in the fall? Because dead cat bounces happen all the time. What does that look like? Could you pull up the chart?
HKD? Yeah, give me just a sec here. It'll be interesting to see how this looks because I'm not really exactly sure how to pull this up. I've never pulled up a Chinese stock.
Yeah,
I don't
never
think
have either.
Yeah, I don't think it's in America. Maybe somebody in the chat might know HKD. I don't think it's this. So we'll have to probably skip that. But what is your overall question, Tim?
Well, so you go to Brocam real quick and break it down. So when I'm looking at this article, of course, what was the number? 70-something% bounce back up?
Correct.
Yeah. So my question would be what bounced it back up? I mean, easily, that's huge for the Chinese economy. Did they just print money the way they can with fiat currency to make it bounce back? Is this a dead cat bounce? Of course, there's mathematical equations. If you drop, let's say it dropped by 70%, because I don't remember the exact number it dropped by. But just because it dropped 70% and then bounced 70%, that doesn't mean it got back up. This could very easily be a dead cat bounce, unless you think the bank's gonna absolutely collapse and die, which I don't think the Chinese government would allow you to. It made sense that people would buy that dip and try to make it ride a little bit. Is this it?
Yeah.
Is that 75%? That yellow, that green
80,
line?
So 75%.
All right, so this is my point right here, guys. Look at that. It's not even anywhere close back up to where it was before the absolute crash. This is a normal dead cat bounce. And I'm not trying to, instill fear here or make anyone crazy worried, but I want you to know, if anyone reads this article and thinks, oh, good, Evergrande's safe, it wasn't the disaster everyone thought it was. No, that is a pretty normal dead cat bounce for something that is still having problems. And again, when you think about it, the Chinese government does not want that bank to crash. They very easily could have just printed money to try to prop it back up, in which case now it's not just the bank. The bank was a leaf on the tree telling you, oh, we have a poisonous tree here. The problem of the Chinese economy is much bigger than just the Evergrande Bank, which is why when they're making these relationships with new BRIC nations, and we'll move on because I don't want to camp out here too long. There we go. I'm moving around the screen. My point here is that if the Chinese economy has problems, this is going to impact and affect the crypto markets very, very much so. So when we're looking for what's the rationale, what's the reason, maybe Bitcoin does hit a 25.2 and bounce like we talked about earlier during TA. Maybe we get back up to 28,000 again somehow. Does that take away the ability for a big crash coming to Bitcoin, a sub $20,000 level? No, it does not. And watch it be the Chinese economy that is the catalyst for why. I don't know. That's the thing I've said before. I can't tell you when, why, or where prices. I can't tell you when or why prices will go to certain levels. TA does not explain the news. It does not explain circumstances. What it does is it tells you levels of opportunity, levels of support and resistance to keep your eyes on. You then use what you know about the economy. You use what you know about the news to then make your predictions of what's going to happen. But a story like a Chinese economy collapse, they're not going to prepare us for it, guys. That would just instill fear and chaos in the markets. They're going to do the best they can to make it sound like everything is okay and they're going to make it through. And then overnight, the whales are going to say, all right, I'm not losing my money. They're going to sell their shares of this bank. They're going to sell their shares of other things in the Chinese economy. It's going to crash. And that's when everyone freaks out. But guess what? I know this is a whole chaotic thing, but guess what? And I don't know if this is the next story or not. We're going to talk about it with BlackRock. People who know how money works love chaos, love disasters, love when hectic things happen in the markets because they understand you make millions by buying the blood. Even if it's your own, you don't make millions by freaking out and selling in the blood. So that's a little bit of a teaser, maybe in the next story, or maybe a couple stories from now. But keep that in mind, guys, that this Chinese story is not over. This could have heavy impacts on what happens in crypto. So we're going to be keeping our close eyes on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the definition of a short reprieve, right? It's kind of a ceasefire in the market but there's a lot more battle to play out in terms of the Chinese real estate crisis that's going on. So taking a look really quickly at the markets, the NASDAQ, S&P, Dow are all red, modestly so, though, with the Dow leading lower. Next story here, we'll go through it quickly because Tim actually kind of predicted this. Solana jumps on Visa stablecoin announcement as Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies remain flat. Not a ton of surprise here. Basically, Visa has tapped Solana because it will improve the speed of cross-border settlements, providing a modern option for our clients to easily send or receive funds from the Visa treasury. So good for Solana. And then you can see here on the daily chart, Solana not necessarily having too much upside from that announcement. I think that came yesterday. That's probably that green candlestick from yesterday. So seeing a retracement back down from that. So it's not going to like explode the crypto market. That's not what that story is, but it is a constant development and integration with TradFi. Moving along here, just two quick stories, guys. PUBG developers unveil Cosmos-based Setless blockchain for USDC settlements. So haven't heard much about Cosmos in a while. Not been in the headlines very much. Now they are. Gala Games co-founders sue each other for alleging corporate waste, 130 million theft. So Gala may be eating itself here right before the beginning of the bull market. Might be a little bit of a crazy happening here, a little bit of a crumbling right before that could sweep and open up the opportunity for some of the other gaming tokens. One of the ones that Archie likes to call out is Hello Labs, I believe. And then you can see here Gala Games reaching I believe now closing on the weekly charts a new low, a lower low there for Gala Games. All right, here's our final story.
Real quick before we get to that final story. What time is it? Yeah, we got time. I want to answer a question because this is a good question in chat. We can go to Brocam for this one. Red Elephant, very good question. He says, wait, if there's a bank collapse, Bitcoin goes down, but if the U.S. banks collapse, Bitcoin goes up. So Red Elephant, what I'm actually referring to here is I don't think you're right. If a bank collapses, I do think that throws people towards crypto. What we're talking about with Evergrande, and I don't want to speak too much on this because I'm not a Chinese citizen. I don't know everything about this, but we're not talking about a small bank. Like we've had large banks, but relatively smaller banks in the U.S. crashing. We have not seen a monster crash. Evergrande is a Chinese monster. It would be tied to the economy. So what I'm saying, Red Elephant, I don't think that the Chinese government would allow this bank to crash. There will not be a continued bank crash. They're going to do whatever they can to prop it back up. But what does that mean? What does that mean for the Chinese economy? What does that mean for the people? Will people sitting there realizing that everything is going to crap be more fearful of getting into risk on assets? And in China right now, I definitely think Bitcoin is treated more as a risk on asset, not I don't think they're treating it like a fight against inflation. What I'm saying is at the moment with that situation, the chaos that it would send to traditional markets is going to breed so much fear that I don't think Bitcoin's big enough to get away from that either. So good question there, Red Elephant, and a good clarifying statement for everybody. I don't think that Evergrande's going to crash. I don't think they're going to allow it to crash. I think there's too many people with too much money invested in it and what it does to allow that to happen. It's the ripple effects of what's happened there that I think hurt crypto. So good point there. We can move on, though, to that final story.
Yep, absolutely. BlackRock, JP Morgan, and McKinsey working on Ukraine Reconstruction Bank. I'll get into some of the details here, and then I'll throw it over to Tim to kind of share his thoughts because this is an older story, guys. But we wanted to give our thoughts on it because we haven't had as much time to do that. Having been ravaged by war since the invasion of Russian troops in 2022, estimates suggest it will take Ukraine more than $40 billion to rebuild. So where is all that money going to come from? Well, the government of President Volodymyr Zelensky has announced it is called upon the consulting branches of BlackRock, which is not spelled right here, interesting, and JP Morgan Chase, as well as the strategists of McKinsey & Company to help set up a fund of reconstruction. That's where the money's going to come from. Okay, so this is something you may be remembering Halliburton after the invasion in the Middle East, the United States. Here we go, though. The fund has been set up to get... Tim, you're going to go away for a second because we can't see
it. That's fine, yeah. Get rid of me.
The fund is being set up to also give public and private sector investors the opportunity to invest into specific projects and sectors. said JP Morgan spokesperson. There will be different sectoral funds that the fund identified as priorities for Ukraine. The aim is to maximize capital participation. That's their aim. So, Tim, I want to throw it to you. What are your thoughts here on this story? It's not a new story, but it's important for right now. Why is that?
There's two different thoughts I have, and I'm going to try to keep it as brief as possible and get your thoughts and get the chat's thoughts as well. First thought is, dang, like BlackRock, they're literally swooping in to buy an entire country. If you aren't aware of everything that BlackRock does and the control and power they try to pick up at everyone else's downfall, this is just confirmation of it. They are taking advantage of an opportunity to literally have control of a whole country. T-Shirt and I talked about this a little beforehand. There's so many different opinions and thoughts about what's happening in Ukraine and Russia and everything's happening there. I'm not going to get into the political nature of it. What I really am heartbroken about is the amount of people that are dying in this war. I'm heartbroken for the people of Ukraine. I'm heartbroken for the people of Russia going through this chaos right now. Not heartbroken for the political leaders of either nation, because I do believe there are problems and there's so much evilness between those government leaders, both Putin and Zelensky. But what I'm seeing happen is BlackRock and JP Morgan say, oh, there's chaos, there's disaster. Perfect time to take advantage of this. Guys, we can go buy a country. Will it look like they bought a country? No. They'll keep everything into the political spectrum to say that, oh, we're just investors. But if you guys do not think that BlackRock and JP Morgan are going to have full control over the government of Ukraine when this is over, you're kidding yourselves. Now, that's the more evil side of it. The investing side of it is saying, guys, this is brilliant. Like, this is the epitome of buy when there's blood in the streets. Ukraine investing property and everything else in Ukraine, that cannot be going that high right now. It's probably a very dumb investment at the moment because there's a lot of chaos happening over there. And you never know when you're going to buy property or building and it's going to get destroyed by some sort of weapon. However, what JP Morgan and BlackRock understand is this is the perfect time to buy because nobody else wants to. Everyone else is scared. Everyone else wants to sell and get the heck out of Ukraine. You need to adopt a similar kind of a thought process when it comes to your investing in the stock market or in crypto or in anything. The best time to buy is when it seems like nobody else wants to, because there's a reason why nobody else wants to, because most people want these safe investments. Most people want to know that I'm going to put $5 in and I'm going to make $10 from that $5 and then extrapolate that to higher levels. It is the risk takers. It's the people that come in during the chaos. They're the ones who make millions and millions and millions, and then in this case, billions of dollars off of the unfortunate details of other people. Now, I'm not saying you guys should go out and buy countries that are in a war zone. I'm saying take this example, this lesson from a whale who understands the logic of buy when there's chaos, buy when there's blood. This is the perfect time to invest. Use that same philosophy in your investments. And it's like when your project that you're watching is just chaotic and everyone is saying this is the worst, this is the worst, this is the worst. If there's legitimate reasons to say that project's going to zero, maybe stay away from it. But like you're going to see times where people are going to say Cardano's going to zero. You're going to see times where people say Bitcoin's going to zero, Ethereum's going to zero. You're going to see it. And you're going to see the mass amount of people want to get out of crypto and run for the hills. That's the perfect time to be buying and jumping in on juicy low prices. What those prices are going to be exactly, not 100% certain, but I know that opportunity is going to come here very soon. And in the future, I don't think that time is done, guys. Wait for another 4 years from now when the same thing's going to be said. Crypto is dead. It's going to be taken over. There's going to be opportunities popping back up, and you've got to learn to control your emotions and act the same way these whales and institutions act by, even though it doesn't feel good, even though your gut is probably going to tell you stay away, that sometimes is the most perfect opportunity to get in and invest in this type of stuff. T-Shim, do you ever thought about the story or thought about any of those points?
Yeah, I mean, buy low, sell high, right? That's the mantra of anybody who's trading or investing. You buy low, you sell high. It's in some sense disgusting, because there's probably an argument to be made that some of these institutions that are now going to benefit from the fees, right, of raising this money. Some of those institutions may have participated in the initiation of the conflict that led to the destruction, right?
Yeah.
Some may make that argument. So you're, obviously that aspect of all this is not applicable to just a retail trading strategy, but buy low, sell high absolutely is. And you're not going to be able to be the one that engineers a manipulation of an underlying asset's price lower, right? But you can watch that phenomena happen, and you can take advantage of it. Now, what I will say is you don't want to get too far outside of your level of expertise, right? So I've been burned pretty bad by natural gas trying to do this exact thing, right? When Ukraine initially was invaded, there was a lot of speculation. The price of natural gas was in extreme volatility, and I tried to invest on it, anticipating for a giant move to the upside, and I got burned because I didn't fully understand the dynamics of international natural gas prices, right? So just because there is blood in the streets in a market doesn't mean that you understand that market, right? And that there couldn't be even more blood in the streets in a week or two that basically liquidate your position. So know what you're trading, so this is kind of where it comes back to is Bitcoin, right? when the whales are manipulating Bitcoin, take advantage of it and buy it at lower prices.
Yeah.
That's I think probably the most black and white, the least opaque takeaway from all of this, at least for me. Maybe it is for you. So hopefully that's kind of my T-Shroom 2 cents there.
That's good 2 cents. And if you invest that 2 cents correctly, T-Shroom, that 2 cents could become 4 cents.
That's right.
Let's engage with chat here as we're closing out. We got a couple minutes left here. Brian D says, buy during fear, sell during greed. Absolutely. It's one of the reasons why we take a look at that Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index every single day, guys. It's a great way, a simple tool to add into knowing when to buy, when to sell. Let's see what else here. Matt C says war equals opportunity. Absolutely. I mean, that's another thing is, the more and more you study the way governments kind of operate. And I was watching a video the other day about inflation and the concept of how, it steals money from the poor and the middle class to give to the wealthy and the rich. And their number one way of doing it is, when they first inflate the money, it doesn't have high impact. I mean, think about it. If the dollar's worth X amount of other things, until it all gets dispersed correctly, no one really knows how much when you print money, it gets inflated. So what they do is they print money to give to things like the military, so where they can use it at top-notch value. And then when they go and use it and spend it and disperse it across wherever it needs to go, then the value now is we as the middle class, we as the lower income people, as we start to spend money, now it's debased. So it's the same thing as like war, kind of backing on what Matt C says here, war is an opportunity for rich people to get richer and then to take wealth away from poorer people. I mean, you just look historically, like every single time that there's war, there's been a side that loses and they lose really hard, but the winner often becomes extremely, extremely wealthy due to all of it. And so there's a whole lot that could go into. I'm not going to get into the details of, again, the war between Russia and Ukraine. There's a lot of information out there about who's right and who's wrong. Ultimately, I think both sides are wrong, and the people, the citizens, are the ones caught in the middle, and that's what's so sad. Let's see, what else do we have here? French Toaster said, good one, Tim. I don't know. What did I say? Which one he's saying? I don't know. But thank you. Thank you for that, French Toaster. T-Shroom, did you see anything in chat you wanted to address?
Yes. There are a lot of spelling errors, and guys, we need to clean that up. We are representation of the crypto community, and we do not misspell things.
That's true. Let's see here. Elliot Locke saw a story where the state government said they will buy up the land if the banks start coming from the mainland to buy. Yeah. I mean, by the way, that's the same thing we're seeing happen with Hawaii. I mean, again, conspiracy theorists or not, whatever you guys believe, was it an accident? Was it an inside job? I don't know. You definitely see wealthy elite banks and individuals taking advantage of all the chaos happening in Hawaii. as a land grab opportunity. It's just really sad seeing that kind of happen all over the place. Matt C said, I know I'm late, but is Spaces happening tonight? Good way to wrap out the show, Matt, because it is 10 o'clock. Yes, tonight at 5:45, and I'm hoping to be there. Otherwise, it was B1 no matter what. But 5:45 tonight Eastern Standard Time will be the Investing Bros Twitter Spaces. Make sure you guys come in, tune in. I don't even know what the topic's going to be just yet, T-Shroom. We'll talk about this afternoon. Give your suggestions in the comment section below. We read the comments, so comment down below after the video is done what you would love us to talk about in the Spaces tonight. But with that said, T-Shroom, I do believe that's all we have for today. Thank you to everyone who came in and joined us this morning. On your way out, make sure you smash that like button. And if you were new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We are quickly growing, but we need your help. We're shooting for 5,000 here within the next month or so, but we need your guys' help. With that said, though, you guys have a fantastic day. We'll see you tomorrow. Adios.
Go Gators.
Go Gators.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word, doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.